Chapter 8. The First Appearance of Rockman. To many in Pinnacle City, 12th night meant the end to a long, laborious week of 12-hour workdays. But to many more, it meant showtime for the Super Alley Brawler League. There were 3 official venues at which league tournaments were hosted. One in Huckster Heights, one in Tumbledown City, and one in Emberside. The last of these was only used twice a year for championships, and the other 2 alternated weekly. Tonight, it was Tumbledown City, and the arena was called Saul's Palace. It was named for its founder, Saul the Fatherless, former brawler and current ward boss of Tumbledown City and Fiddlestick Alley. Like most places in this part of town, Saul's Palace had been converted over from an abandoned warehouse. The main entrance was off of Such and Such Avenue, an area that Desmond knew well, the Black Bazaar looming large right across the street. The venue's interior was primarily constructed of old wooden crates. Just beyond the entrance was a solid wall that separated the lobby from the arena, and upon it was painted a mural of brawlers duking it out in the ring. Various booths were scattered across the lobby, selling concessions, merchandise, and autographs. Before the official league brawls began, a series of exhibition rounds took place, where aspiring fighters competed against seasoned veterans. As Sam told it, Richard could only take part in 1 exhibition round per week, and he had to win 3 before being admitted into the league. Only then would they start earning prize money. All in all, it seemed like this was going to be a much longer long-term investment than Desmond had hoped, and he was beginning to have his doubts about the entire thing. To darken his mood further, registration for exhibition rounds ended at 7 o'clock. It was now 10 minutes until then, and the Clower brothers were nowhere to be found.
"Maybe they're just running behind,"
Sam said.
"I'm already sick of these clowns. The little guy especially,"
Desmond said.
"Lloyd?"
"Whatever.
They don't seem so bad to me. Richard's nice, and he's a real good fighter, too."
"Guess we're about to find out," Desmond said, checking his timepiece. "That is, if these goddamn sons of bitches even show up." Sam thought on that.
"Wouldn't it be sons of a bitch, since they got the same mom?"
"Sam, it's just an expression, not a statement about the
Hey, there they are,"
Sam said, pointing. The Clower brothers had just come through the main entrance, though Desmond had to do a double take when he saw Richard. Aside from his sheer size, he was nearly unrecognizable. He put on some muscle since their last meeting. His hair and beard were gone, and his only attire was a brown pair of pants cut off at the knees. Any bare skin was smeared with some kind of gray paste, but sweat had removed much of it. And much to Desmond's alarm, Richard also walked with a pronounced limp.
"Where the hell have you been?"
Desmond said.
"We had to shave Richie's beard and head,"
Lloyd said.
"Why?" "The little girl told us."
"Flossie,"
Richard said.
"Right, her. She said Rockman shouldn't have hair since rocks don't grow hair."
"Oh, that makes sense,"
Sam said.
"Only we didn't have a razor,"
Richard said.
"So then we had to go across town to borrow one from
Forget it. What's wrong with your leg?"
Desmond said.
"Twisted his ankle on the way over,"
Lloyd said.
"on account of us rushing to get here."
"I injured it that way before,"
Richard said.
"Can you even fight now?"
Desmond said.
"Course he can,"
Lloyd said.
"Just won't move around so much."
"Last I heard, brawlers move around a lot."
"Most, yeah,"
Sam muttered.
"Quit worrying,"
Lloyd said.
"Soon as they come in close, Richie'll just sock 'em in the jaw and then it'll be done. Overconfidence is gonna be their undoing."
"Absolutely nothing about that plan inspires confidence in me," Desmond said.
"I done it plenty times before,"
Richard said with a smile. "Wonderful. Sounds like you both got this covered."
"Hey, Quick,"
Lloyd said.
"how about, just for tonight, you take care of the money and we'll take care of the fight. And if it don't work out, you can call all the shots you want next week."
Desmond felt his hackles rising. Lloyd's voice grated on him. But if they were going to do this, there wasn't time for an argument. "Fine," Desmond said.
"Great, let's get cracking,"
Lloyd said.
"Registration's over there. Better hurry, only got a few minutes left,"
Sam said. They approached the booth, which was attended by a flint-faced old woman with a lit cigarette dangling from her lips. "Name," the registrar said, not looking up.
"Me?"
Richard said. "Whoever's doing the fighting."
"His name's Richard Clower,"
Lloyd said. "Alter ego?"
"Rockman."
Is this a combatant's first brawl in an official Super Rally Brawler League exhibition tournament under this alter ego or any other?
Huh?
Richard said.
Yeah. It's his first fight,
Lloyd said. The registrar looked up from her form, glimpsing Richard for the first time. Height, 6'6". Weight, 250. She jotted those figures down. How you feel?
Okay, I guess.
Richard said.
Except my ankle hurts 'cause I twisted it on the way here, and my face and head burned from...
Right, you pass, the registrar said. She wrote down one last note, then scribbled down a bunch of numbers on the form and totaled them up. Your league registration fee's 50 marks. Entry fee, 25 marks. First-time combatant fee, 25 marks. Returning combatant fee waived. Preliminary medical examination surcharge, 15 marks. All told, 115. Cash only.
Guess that's your cue, moneybags,
Lloyd said. Desmond stepped forth, a fist-sized knot in the pit of his stomach. From one of his pockets, he produced a coin purse and counted out the amount stated by the registrar. But when he went to give her the coins, he found it difficult to relinquish them. "In for a penny and for a pound," Desmond said under his breath, steeling himself. "What?" the registrar said.
Nothing.
Desmond turned over the money. "Good," the registrar said, once finished counting. She then produced a form and slid it across the table, gesturing to a line at the bottom of the page. "Make your mark there."
That's you, Richie,
Lloyd said. Richard picked up a pen and scratched a crude X on the paper. When he was finished, the registrar pulled the form back, then signed and dated it. "Your brawler number is 321, the registrar said, handing Lloyd the form. "Don't lose that or you have to pay the registration fee again."
I won't,
Lloyd said, folding it up and tucking it into his jacket. "The ready room's on the other side of the arena once you're in."
How do we get in?
Desmond said. The registrar pointed toward the main gate. "Buy your tickets over there."
Seriously?
"What?
We have to buy our own tickets after I just shelled out 100 marks in entry fees?
Hey, nothing's free, kid." And with that, Rockman was entered into the exhibition tournament. Desmond paid for 4 tickets in the cheap seats. Then they approached the ticket taker, who stood at the mouth of a large, tall crate that had been turned on its side to form a tunnel. The tickets were torn in half and the stubs handed back to Desmond. "Welcome to Saul's Palace. No outside food or drink allowed," the ticket taker said. When they reached the other end of the tunnel, the Brawler arena stood before them.
Wow,
Sam said, taking it in.
I've never been in an official league arena before.
we've been here a couple times.
Lloyd said.
Lot bigger than I remember,
Richard said.
Don't let the size of the place intimidate you, Richie.
Okay.
The arena was shaped like a long, boxy bowl, and the fighting ring lay at its center, with a floor of hard-packed earth and walls of ridged sheet metal. The expensive seats were right up close to the action, and from there, crates of varying size created rows that gradually ascended outward. The tunnel deposited Desmond and the others about halfway up the bowl, and the cheap seats were considered anything above this point. Overhead, large crates with windows cut into their bottoms were suspended over the ring by chain. Box seats for VIPs, accessed by a causeway up in the rafters.
Sometimes Saul the Fatherless watches from up there,
Lloyd said, following Desmond's gaze. Desmond said.
They lower them boxes down close when the brawls start,
Richard said.
Pretty neat.
We should split. Richie's got to get ready.
Lloyd said.
Guess this is where we part ways, fellas.
Good fortune, Rockman,
Sam said.
Thanks,
Richard said. Just make sure you do that one-punch knockout thing, Desmond said.
I'll try my best.
The Clower brothers made for the ready room, while Desmond and Sam took their seats along the back wall and waited for the show to begin.
Get me something to drink,
Desmond said.
Gin?
Sam said.
Yeah. Can I buy a snack?
Fine. Sam set off toward the nearest concession stand. Desmond closed his eyes and breathed deeply, pondering what he'd gotten himself into. He pulled out his cigarette and smoked, and sometime after he'd finished it, Sam returned. As spectators continued to fill the arena, Sam sipped his beer and munched on popcorn, explaining the finer points of the Super Alley Brawler League. Desmond barely registered anything he was being told, as he welcomed the drunks setting in. At 8 o'clock, the house lights were extinguished, leaving only the ring illuminated. A loud clinking resounded through the arena as several box seats descended into viewing position above. A heavy metal hook was also lowered by a rope from the rafters, bringing with it a tall man in his early middle years, one foot balanced on the tip of the hook, one hand clutching the rope. He wore a bright tailcoat with an ostentatious pattern and an absurdly tall top hat. When he spoke, it was with a voice booming and bright.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saul's Palace. I am Rodney Quibble, your master of ceremonies for this evening of blood, fun, pain, and mayhem.
Now near enough to the ground, Quibble hopped down, the rope and hook retracting upward out of sight. As he continued to speak, he spun in the center of the ring, addressing each section of the crowd in turn.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have some spectacularly savage brawlers duking it out for your delight and amazement. The Masked Menace, Eula-Kaboom, Johnny Bandit, and of course the main event, Captain Chaotic vs. Hammer Hand.
Cheers from the crowd reached a crescendo.
But before we can get to the real show, it's time for Amateur Hour. That's right, fresh meat for the grinder. During our exhibition rounds, combatants from every corner of Pinnacle City will test their mettle against some of the heaviest hitters the league has to offer. And if history tells us anything, most of these greenhorns are in for a pretty rough night.
The crowd laughed at that.
But maybe, just maybe, one of these nobodies from nowhere will have what it takes to become this season's Super Alley Brawler League champion.
Rodney Quibble went on to introduce the first two fighters. The newcomer was Brawler number 307, a scrawny guy wearing a ratty pair of overalls with no shirt underneath. He faced off against Scratchman. Ding! Within seconds, the brawlers closed the distance between them. The number 307 was assaulted with 3 solid blows, the third landing him flat on his back, and it was over. Ding, ding, ding! The crowd roared with delight. Scratchman absorbed the praise as stagehands dragged his unconscious opponent out of the ring. The next several matches were much the same. Local street toughs or regular schmoes chasing fame and fortune. All were knocked cold by hardened professionals who beat people for a living. As each merciless defeat unfolded, Desmond wondered if he was just another one of these dumb suckers throwing their money away on something doomed for failure. He was stirred from his ruminations when he heard the name Rockman.
There he is,
Sam said. Down in the ring, Richard emerged from backstage. His makeup had been touched up, and his odd bestial movements did well to conceal his limp. From this far away, Desmond thought the guy could actually pass as some strange rock monster from wherever. The crowd booed and jeered, something they'd done for all of the newcomers up to this point.
And here to shatter Rockman into 1,000,000 tiny pieces,
Rodney Quibble said,
I present to you Pitfall!
From the opposing archway entered a man garbed in black pajamas. Not far from where Desmond and Sam were sitting, a man dressed very similar to Pitfall stood to his feet and screamed with ecstasy. Once Pitfall joined Richard and Quibble at the center of the ring, Quibble gestured for them to shake. They did so, affably enough. Then Quibble got clear of the forthcoming fray. Ding! Pitfall began to circle Richard, maintaining his distance. Richard had a size advantage, and Pitfall proved more cautious than previous brawlers had been with their adversaries. Pivoting on his good leg, Richard spun slowly, keeping Pitfall in his sights while putting little pressure on his bum ankle.
Come to me, Rockman!
Pitfall shouted.
Come to your own destruction!
Richard said something back, but it was too quiet.
Louder!
One spectator called.
Louder! We can't hear you, dumbass!
Another yelled. Pitfall moved closer, not to strike, but to say a quick word to Richard that went unheard by the audience.
Okay!
Richard shouted.
I grind. Wait. I dust you.
The audience was overcome with laughter.
Rockman!
Pitfall said, serious.
It is I who will grind you to dust.
He assumed an attack position as the crowd chanted his name.
Take him out! Beat him up! Kill him, Pitfall! Kill him!
Pitfall pounced forward. At the same time, Richard swung and missed, his opponent dodging the blow in the nick of time, throwing Richard off balance. Then Pitfall slammed a hard kick into the back of Richard's leg, causing his knee to buckle. The big man grunted in pain, clutching his ankle.
Oh no,
Sam said. As Richard fell, Pitfall performed a lightning-fast maneuver that brought him low to the ground, facing Richard's unguarded back. Then he lunged for Richard again, swiftly closing the gap between them. But just as Pitfall was about to strike, Richard spun around in a flash and slammed his big fist straight into his opponent's jaw. Pitfall dropped to the ground and was still. Ding, ding, ding!
That's it! It's over!
Quibble shouted.
Rockman wins!
The crowd went wild, though Richard hadn't seemed to notice, as he was too busy checking on Pitfall. Quibble came over and nudged Richard, then said something, after which Richard raised both of his arms.
I crush,
He said.
I win.
Several matches later, the Clower brothers emerged from backstage and made their way toward Desmond and Sam. There was a swagger to Lloyd's step, and members of the audience called out to Richard as they passed.
Good on you, Rockman!
Hell of a fight.
That was a great hit!
Thank you.
Richard said to each one, grinning. When they arrived, Lloyd plopped down into the seat beside Sam.
Gentlemen, we are victorious,
He said.
Congratulations, Rockman,
Sam said.
We were real nervous there for a sec, or I was anyways. Then, bang, you got him good. Was over before we even knew it. Thanks, Sam,
Richard said, taking the seat beside his brother.
That went pretty good, eh, Quick?
Lloyd said. Sure, 115 marks well spent, Desmond said, dry. Lloyd glared at Desmond.
Well, goddamn. Figured a little celebration was in order. At least a nice word to Richie or something.
Desmond sighed but said nothing. Despite the victory, he was still in a terrible mood, fixated on the fact that, at best, it'd be 3 more weeks before they even started making their money back, much less turn a profit. For a long, cheerless moment, he, Sam, and the Clower brothers sat quiet, the noise of the arena swirling around them. But then, as if a switch had been flipped in his head, Desmond decided to stop being such a grump. Going into tonight, this was the best outcome he could have hoped for, and that was indeed reason to celebrate. All right, I'm happy too, Desmond said. Great job, Richard. Knocked the guy down in 1 hit, just like I said to.
Oh, hey, thanks, Mr. Quick,
Richard said. Lloyd brightened a little.
Yeah,
He said, quiet.
thanks.
Now let's get the hell out of here, Desmond said.
You don't want to stay for the rest of the tournament?
Sam said. No, I think I've had enough. But then Desmond lost his train of thought as a young attendant from Saul's palace approached, coming to a stop in the aisle right beside Richard.
Hey, you the rock fella?
The kid said.
His name's Rockman.
Lloyd said.
And who's asking?
Mr. Pitfall wants to see him.
What for?
Didn't say. Just said get the Rockman and bring him downstairs.
Well, I'm his manager,
Lloyd said, standing to his feet.
so I'm coming along.
And I'm his patron, Desmond said, also standing. So I'm coming too. Though upon further reflection, he wasn't sure why he said that. The cheap gin was getting to him.
Okay, but let's go already. They're waiting.
The kid said, then turned and led the way.
Can I join?
Sam said. Why not? Desmond said. The Rockman crew followed the attendant down and around the arena, then through a pair of wide doors. A set of stairs brought them into the backstage bowels of Saul's palace, and the kid deftly navigated the shadowy maze of crate-made hallways. At one point, they passed Rodney Quibble, who was talking serious to some managerial-looking lady with a clipboard. Eventually, the kid stopped at a door and knocked. It opened to reveal an aging, heavy-set man with wide-rimmed spectacles, a button-up shirt, and suspenders hooked to his trousers.
What, you bring the whole friggin' family?
The man said, his voice gruff and ragged.
That's his manager and his patron.
The kid said, gesturing to Lloyd and Desmond.
And that's some other guy.
He added about Sam.
Right, whatever.
The man gave the kid a few coins.
Beat it.
The kid departed.
Inside.
The man said, stepping back.
And shut the door.
They obeyed, entering a crate the size of a small room. Along the back wall, Pitfall lay atop a beaten-down sofa, holding a bag of ice against his face. He gave them a passive wave.
Name's Wilbur Fishman.
The other man said.
I'm Pitfall's manager. Pleased to meet you. What you call us down here for?
Lloyd said.
Me and Pitfall find ourselves in a rather precarious situation just now. As you can see, his jaws broke from that hit he took off Rock Monster.
Rockman. And hey, that was a clean hit, so if this is some kind of shakedown...
No, nothing like that. We want to make you an offer.
An offer, Desmond said.
The exhibition fight's our routine gig, but Pitfall had a second fight lined up tonight, on account of Lethal Larry still ain't recovered from injuries he suffered last week. But now Pitfall's laid up with his injury too, so someone else has got to fill in for the second fight.
And if you can't find a replacement, you're in breach of contract with the league,
Lloyd said.
Right, and the match is in 20 minutes, so no time to find another league brawler that ain't already a part of the lineup.
Where do we fit into this? Richie, Rockman, ain't in the league yet. Just one exhibition fight under his belt.
Yeah, but Pitfall is. He sponsors you, and just like that, bada bing, bada boom, you're in.
You do that for me? After I done broke your jaw?
Richard said. Pitfall nodded.
He ain't doing you a favor, Richie. It's the other way around,
Lloyd said.
I'd like to think it's a mutually beneficial arrangement,
Fishman said.
I'll do it,
Richard said.
Great.
Pitfall gave a thumbs up.
Mr. Quibble's gonna need your character backstory before you go out.
Character backstory?
Lloyd said.
Yep, written down.
Written down?
Richard said.
Is there an echo in here? Yes, written down. Wait, don't tell me you knuckleheads didn't bring your character rundown sheet.
It's exhibition. No one needs that stuff in exhibition,
Lloyd said.
You do if you get sent up like you just friggin' did.
We didn't think that was a real consideration.
Fishman groaned.
All right. We can still pull this together,
he said, stepping over to the desk and withdrawing a sheet of paper from the drawer.
Tell me you mooks at least already come up with a backstory for this Rockman.
Course we did,
Lloyd said.
We just didn't bring it with us is all.
You remember it?
Mostly.
I remember it,
Sam said.
Okay,
Fishman said.
my penmanship's real bad, and Quibble hates when he can't make out words easy. Any you louts know how to write?
Desmond knows.
And you don't? Desmond said.
Yeah, but my handwriting ain't so good as yours.
Better be you then, Slick.
Fishman said, pulling a chair out at the desk.
Sit.
Reluctant, Desmond walked over to the desk, sat down, and wrote, as Sam dictated the origins of Rockman. Less than 20 minutes later, Desmond and Sam were back in their seats. Quibble returned to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He said.
It looks as though we have a last-minute change to the lineup. If you were here during our exhibition rounds, then you've already seen our next combatant in action tonight. Having laid out Pitfall with a single blow, he now climbs his way up to a league match. Given life in a secret laboratory somewhere in the deepest depths of the Kingmaker mines, this bloodthirsty abomination is the dark and twisted creation of the evil mad scientist, Dr. Seymour Darkness. Bound to the will of his master, sworn to destroy all who live on the surface world, he now comes to Saul's palace, seeking his second victim of the evening. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the Rockman.
As Richard Clowers stormed into the arena, much of the crowd cheered, many more than had done during exhibition. Sam clapped and hooted his excitement with abandon. There was an electric intensity in the air that moved even Desmond to applaud, if only briefly. Still managing to conceal his limp, Richard skulked around the ring, shouting,
I grind,
or
I crush.
Before joining Quibble at the center.
And the opposing combatant,
Quibble went on.
a brawler who needs no introduction but will get one nonetheless. The hero in this daring battle of good versus evil, driven by a sacred blood oath to prosper himself. The robber who steals from robbers. You know him. You love him. Johnny Bandit.
A lean, agile man wearing a colorful bandit outfit bolted from the other archway. He moved like the wind, dashing around the ring several times over, jumping and spinning in the air, punctuating any tricky gymnastical feat with a boisterous laugh that sounded like, "Ha-ha!" And the crowd really did love him, roaring with delight at all the right parts of his performance. When the match was ready to commence, Quibble gestured for the two brawlers to shake. Johnny Bandit extended his hand, but when Richard went to grasp it, it was expeditiously withdrawn.
"I'll not clasp hands with filth like this,"
Johnny Bandit said, crisp and clear. The arena responded with cheers and laughs, and Richard tensed up.
"Ready!"
Quibble shouted as he left the ring. Ding! Johnny Bandit quickly bounded away, dancing in wide circles around Richard, who didn't move much except to maintain focus on his opponent.
"Hey, Rockman,"
Johnny Bandit said.
"tonight I'm gonna knock your lights out."
Richard said.
I break. No, I grind.
Johnny Bandit moved in close. Richard went to swing, but missed, and Johnny Bandit slammed his fist into Richard's side before dancing away once more.
"Hey, Rockman,"
Johnny Bandit said.
"when we're done here, I'm gonna go down to that lab of yours, find your master, and knock his lights out too."
I crush you.
Richard said.
"Crush me? Ha-ha! I think not."
He moved in close and landed a second blow to Richard's side. Richard threw a retaliatory swing but missed again, and Johnny Bandit guffawed.
"Now we know why they call you Rockman. You move like a stone."
The barb drew uproarious laughter from the crowd, and after another swing and a miss, Richard roared in frustration.
"Ha-ha!"
Johnny Bandit said, entering into another string of jumps and spins. Richard stared up at the crowd, which laughed and jeered as his opponent made him look a fool. It was tough to tell from this far away, but it looked as though he was crying. Johnny Bandit rushed in and...
"Ha-ha!"
Another solid blow to Richard's side. Richard howled in pain.
He's had it.
Desmond said.
The big bastard's too damn stage fright now. He might still pull it out.
Sam said.
"Rockman,"
Johnny Bandit said.
"I'ma steal your wife, Rockman. Then I'm gonna give her some of my rocks. Ha-ha!"
I don't even have a wife.
Richard shouted back. Johnny Bandit doubled over laughing.
"He says he don't got a wife. With a mug like that, it ain't no wonder."
The entire arena was in stitches over that one. Richard's limp was worse than ever, and he now struggled to keep an eye on Johnny Bandit, who continued to make whip-fast circles around him. Richard fell to his knees and let out an ear-splitting roar of despair, covering his face with both hands. It was in this moment that Johnny Bandit decided to deliver his finishing blow. Coming around to Richard's back, he sprinted forth and jumped high into the air. As he made his ascent, he prepared a kick aimed straight for Richard's head. But an instant before it made contact, Richard dodged, then caught his opponent's leg as it went sailing by him.
"Oh, shit!"
Johnny Bandit exclaimed. He screamed in terror as Richard held fast to his leg, spinning him around and around, gaining speed and momentum. Then suddenly, Richard swung him high into the air and yanked him back down, slamming Johnny Bandit face first into the ground. And all was still. Ding, ding, ding!
"That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Quibble rushed over and grabbed Richard's arm, raising it up.
Rockman wins!"
The crowd went wild, including Desmond.
"Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've just witnessed history in the making. Rockman has defeated Johnny Bandit in his first official league fight ever. Let's hear it for him."
Rockman, Rockman, Rockman.
Sam, Desmond said, leaning in to speak.
Yeah?
Sam said with a wide grin. I think this backwards-ass harebrained scheme might just pay off after all. Down in the center of the ring, Richard beamed as the chanting continued.
Rockman.